welcome to this episode of Think Peace. I'm the mind of Lilith, and today I'm going to be talking about the situation with Derrick Jaxn and his now estranged wife. So apparently, Derrick Jaxn filed for divorce from his wife after years of marriage, a controversial and dysfunctional marriage. A few years ago, Tasha K did an expose on him, revealing that he had been having multiple affairs with different women. He's an incessant womanizer, and pretty much he's been disrespecting his wife for years. So I was never really a fan of Derrick Jaxn. He was some sort of self-proclaimed relationship guru, and I suspect that a lot of his followers were following him because they liked the way that he looked. He always reminded me of my brother, which is why I was like, I can see through this, because he looks similar to my brother physically. Like, his face is the same, and my brother has this expression where he's like trolling you but doesn't think that you know that he's trolling you. And that's how Derrick Jaxn looked. Like, he was telling a running joke that was like a secret inside joke he was telling to himself as he was talking to people about relationships. I felt like he was talking about himself, okay? And this is years ago. So when it was exposed that Derrick Jaxn was actually married and cheating, I was not surprised at all, because in my mind, I'm thinking, this man who is relatively attractive, he seems to have some sort of emotional intelligence, some awareness about him. Where's his girlfriend, right? Because it's easy for a guy like him to find a girl, really easy. He's attractive, he panders to women, he's articulate, he has muscles, he's tall, he's dark skinned. Where's his woman? And so the fact that I never saw a woman with him, to me, meant that he was either hiding something or that he was a bachelor, period. Okay. So anyway, a couple of years ago, Tasha K exposed that Derrick Jaxn has had many affairs, and his wife, who was a part of some sort of cult, they had separated prior to them reconciling, and he begged for her to come back, and she came back to him and went on a social media rampage attacking women for trying to destroy his relationship. Recently, she went on social media cursing people and attacking people who were trying to destroy her divine union with her husband. Listen, I saw some videos a couple years ago of her being in church somewhere, and she's supposedly a part of a cult. Her and Derrick Jaxn are a part of some sort of religious community that she basically has wrapped her entire identity around. When your marriage becomes a religion, more than likely you'll be susceptible to narcissistic abuse, okay? Derrick Jaxn is a raging narcissist. Some will call him a somatic narcissist, some will call him a cerebral narcissist. He's probably one of both, but he's someone who has the gift of gab, okay? He's someone who can use his words to manipulate people into giving him what he wants. And he's very intelligent, like many narcissists are. Very, very smart. So he knows what to say, how to say it, when to say it, who to say it to, and he knows how to feign empathy and remorse when he makes a mistake. I think that Derrick Jaxn was the one who filed for divorce from his wife. And from what I saw on social media, he divorced her because she's gone. She has been mentally, emotionally, and psychologically destroyed by his narcissistic abuse. So now she's a shell of her former self. She has no strength to leave. She doesn't even know who she is anymore. And now he's gone. Now he's no longer interested, okay? Because when she left him the first time, because I think he said that she left him years ago because of his infidelity, and he convinced her to come back, she still had some fight in her left. She had some sense of dignity about her left. But now that he's destroyed every shred of dignity and self-respect that she has, and she's lost herself completely, it is time for him to go. That is how narcissists operate. Derrick Jaxn was not going to leave his wife until he completely destroyed her. There's nothing left for her except her pain, regret, remorse, and disillusionment, okay? I read somewhere that she's a Sagittarius. If she's a Sagittarius, Saturn going into Pisces, joining Neptune, is going to force her to come to terms with the reality of the fact that she allowed herself to be abused and used and discarded by a narcissist. She turned her husband and her marriage into her religion. It became her identity. And Sagittarians, just like Pisceans, they identify with what they believe. So if you believe that your marriage is more important than you as an individual because your marriage has been ordained by God, and as a result you have to hold on to that relationship in order to prove how much you love God and prove how worthy you are of his blessings and his salvation and protection, you're going to sacrifice yourself, your individuality, to hold on to a relationship that is in alignment with your belief systems, okay? So Derrick Jaxn, like many narcissists, they love religious or Christian or spiritual women. Look at Nature Boy, look at Brother Polite, look at Imam Isa from the Nuwapians. Narcissists love women who are religious and women who are highly susceptible to being brainwashed, okay? Because narcissists need women to separate from themselves in order to attach themselves to the illusion and the fantasy that the narcissist creates for them. So your individuality and your identity is irrelevant. It means nothing. All that matters is our union. The relationship itself as an entity is more important than your individuality. In astrology, the 7th house is opposing the 1st house. The 1st house is the house of the self, and the 7th house is the house of the other. It's the house of open enemies. It's the house of marriage and business partnerships. So in order for you to be married to someone, more than likely, you're going to have to sacrifice some aspects of your identity in order to merge into your relationship with your partner, especially if you're not compatible, okay? If you're not compatible with somebody and you insist on marrying them anyway, you're going to lose more of yourself than if you were married to somebody who was actually compatible with you and has similar goals and interests and values as you. So because Derrick Jaxn was not this way, he had to chip away at his wife's identity, okay? Because Derrick Jaxn is a narcissist, he had to figure out a way of keeping his wife attached to him so that she can keep giving him narcissistic supply, emotional support, psychological support. She pretty much worshipped him and put him on a pedestal to the point where she lost herself completely. You see her ranting and raving and rambling. This man was not pouring into her. This man destroyed her psychologically. I'm not saying that she's irreparable. I'm saying it's going to take a long time for her to reprogram herself. And in order for her to do that, she has to come to terms with the reality that she allowed this man to become her belief system. Her marriage to this man became her whole identity. Nothing else mattered. Her feelings didn't matter. Her comfort didn't matter. The only thing that mattered was holding on to the illusion and the fantasy of this magical, mystical, divinely inspired marriage, okay? And he filed for divorce from her. That's what I heard. Not surprising, because there's nothing left. She's emptied out now. She's a shell of herself. That is how narcissists operate. And that is what Martell was trying to do to Melody. He was trying to chip away at her self-esteem and her psychological well-being to the point where she wouldn't even know who she was anymore, okay? And once that happened, Martell would become even more emboldened with the cheating, right? Because guess what? She's lost herself. So she ain't going nowhere. I can do her dirty all day and all night. I can get this girl pregnant. It ain't shit going to happen, because guess what? The institution of marriage, the institution of this relationship is more important than her self-respect. That is what Martell was trying to do to Melody, and that's why Melody had to run like hell, like Tina Turner from Ike Turner. Unfortunately, Derrick Jaxn's wife was not strong enough to leave this man before he pretty much ravaged her psychologically. When you're on the internet ranting and raving and cursing people to defend a relationship with a man who does not respect you, Derrick Jaxn's wife at some point said that, this is a couple years ago, she said that she was watching videos of him having sex with other women and she was comparing herself to other women, okay? She's psychologically warped and she's psychologically damaged, and she's somebody who suffers from sadistic abuse. To watch your husband have sex with other women and then you're comparing yourself to these women, right? That's psychological torture, and she's doing this to herself. So Derrick Jaxn programmed this girl into finding pleasure in her own pain. And why do I say it was pleasurable? Because she watched it, okay? She wanted to see how much her husband was betraying her and hurting her. And those videos validated feelings that she had about herself, that she wasn't good enough, that she couldn't compete with other women, that she was lucky to have a man like him. That is why someone would subject themselves to that kind of abuse, to watch your husband with other women on film and to still stay with him after that. So her mind is warped. I wouldn't be surprised if she came into that relationship with some sort of damage already, okay? If she was raised in a cult, or if she was raised in a really, really religious family, then she was susceptible to this kind of brainwashing where you're watching your husband disrespect you on film, just like Melody was forced to listen to the things that Ariane was saying to her about what Martell was doing to her. That is emotional and psychological torture. But when you're with a narcissist, I'm telling you, your sense of reality is so warped and you're so broken, you're going to allow things to happen that you never thought possible. From the outside looking in, we're like, oh my God, this is crazy. What is wrong with her? Why is she still staying with him? Because I'm telling you, narcissists are psychological terrorists. They're psychological terrorists. They will tear down every little shred of dignity that you have before they discard you. So now his wife has nothing left, okay? Her mind is gone. Her identity is gone. She doesn't know who she is outside of this relationship. And so he's with somebody else because she can't even give him narcissistic supply anymore because she's broken. Her self-esteem is so low that he can't even get adequate supply from her anymore, because it's almost like somebody who you don't value giving you something. If you don't value yourself, whatever you're giving to me, I can't respect or value either. This is what Martell was doing with Ariane. Ariane did whatever Martell wanted her to do, and her self-esteem was so low that he could not respect her, even though that's what he required of her to maintain a sexual relationship with her. And so Martell wanted Ariane to be his footstool, right? He wanted her to be submissive to him in the way that his wife was not. And he was telling his wife, the reason why I'm with this lady is because she values me. She satisfies me. She listens to me. But at the same time, he's ignoring Ariane. At the same time, he's not even claiming her publicly. At the same time, he doesn't even respect Ariane for doing what Melody's not doing. Okay? So according to Martell, again, Melody wasn't submitting to him, right? She wasn't letting him be the man. And Ariane was doing that. And what did Ariane get in return for her services? What did Ariane get in return for her loyalty to Martell? Absolutely nothing but a baby and a downgrade. When he was married to Melody, that was his girlfriend. And when they got divorced, that became his homie. That's my homie, right? All the submission, all the degradation, all the invalidation meant nothing at that point, because he didn't see her value since she didn't value herself. Her only value was her ability to hurt Melody. That's all he wanted her for. That is all he was there for, to hurt Melody and make himself feel better by doing it, because Melody is a very powerful, strong person, and he felt like he couldn't get to her any kind of way. Melody had no problem leaving the home and doing her own thing, minding her business, healing, right? Getting away from his narcissism, getting away from his abuse. Then Melody would show up to work and handle business and make money for the household. I don't really need you anyway. Martell did not like that. And so he decided to go nuclear on Melody. I'm not only going to have an affair, I'm going to have a whole girlfriend, and I'm going to weaponize this woman against you to completely destroy your self-esteem, to the point where now you're competing with somebody who doesn't even value themselves. I'm going to fuck with your self-esteem by forcing you to compete with a woman who can't do shit for me. Like Beyonce said, she has half of me and she ain't even half of me. She has my husband's attention and his affection, but she ain't even doing what I'm doing to maintain this relationship. But Martell didn't even value Ariane like that. He valued her ability to be used as a tool against his wife. That is all. And the same thing with Derrick Jaxn. Derrick Jaxn was probably using his wife to cover up the fact that he has a personality disorder, that he is a womanizer. And in whatever little community they had, right, the fact that he was married probably helped his brand, okay? Made him seem like he was a good man, like he was a good father, like he was a pillar of the community. It's crazy to me because it seems like Derrick Jaxn had 3 different personas at minimum, okay? He was the husband to his wife, then he was this relationship guru guy who loved women and respected women, right? And then he's this like womanizer on the side. So he's a husband, a relationship guru guy who doesn't have a girlfriend or wife, right? And then he's a womanizer also. 3 different distinct identities that he's compartmentalized in order to gain different types of narcissistic supply. His wife's supply was different from the supply he was getting from his YouTube audience, these anonymous women who were like praising him. Oh my God, he's the perfect man. And then he was also getting supply from the woman he was cheating on his wife with, a different type of supply. So 3 different personalities that he has at the very least. This man is I don't want to say sociopath, but at the very least, he's a narcissist, okay? The fact that you're recording yourself having sex with other women and your wife has access to these records and you don't feel any shame about that at all, And then when she leaves, you try to get her back because you don't want her to leave you. You want to leave her destroyed, broken, and destitute. How dare you leave me? How dare you leave me? I'm Derrick Jaxn. I'm the man here. So I'm going to leave you after I convince you that reconciling with me is what God wants. Okay? Just like Martell begged Melody to reconcile with him, only to go after Ariane again and start the same cycle of toxicity over and over and over again, which is why Melody is done with him. So Derrick Jaxn told his wife, let's work this thing out, right? God wants us to work this thing out, using her religion as a weapon and a tool against her to keep her brainwashed, right? Because as the saying goes, religion is the opium of the masses. Let me use her faith against her to convince her that this is what God wants. Jesus wants you to forgive me over and over and over again because that's what he said in the Bible. I'm not perfect. I'm a work in progress. I need you to help me to become the man that God wants me to be so we can have this divine partnership, so we can be an example to our community and showing how God's love can heal all things. So he ensnared her back into this relationship just to get the one little bit of juice that was left, that last little bit of resistance. He wanted to completely crack her and break her down to nothing. And once he accomplished his goal, he's like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? I'm not happy in this relationship anymore. You're so depressed. You're so this, you're so that. You've changed. You're bitter. You're angry. You're not who I married. Now I'm cheating because I'm not getting what I wanted. But you stole her life from her. Like Martell was trying to do with Melody. Like Martell was trying to do with Ariane. After narcissists steal your light from you, they'll look at you like you're crazy. Oh my God, why are you so upset? Why are you so depressed? Why are you so sad? You're always miserable. You're always arguing, right? I don't want to come home to this. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I'm thinking about Eddie Griffin. He was like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Anyway, what's wrong with you? What's your problem? So now I can justify cheating because you've changed, right? Before you changed, I was cheating because, you weren't giving me what I wanted, but I couldn't tell you because I didn't want to ruin our relationship. But after you found out I was cheating, right, you changed your behavior because you couldn't trust me anymore. And now I'm going to justify my cheating and betraying you again because you don't treat me the way you used to when we first got married. Never mind the fact that I spent the past decade psychologically and emotionally abusing you. Never mind that. You're not treating me the same way because of what I've done to you. So now my cheating is justified. As a matter of fact, because you know about what's going on and it's your fault, I'm going to cheat in your face now because now I can blame it on you. Now that you know about it and you ain't going no fucking where, I can do it in your face and you won't do nothing because you blame yourself for it. I've convinced you and I've tricked you into thinking that my behavior is your fault. Don't you dare catch an attitude with me when you find out I'm cheating on you again, because guess what? Once you catch an attitude with me again, I can say that's why I'm cheating. I'm cheating because you have an attitude about something that I was doing behind your back. And then you ask the question, well, why were you cheating before this? We had no problems. And then the narc says, well, we always had problems. You just weren't paying attention to me. I wasn't getting what I wanted from you, so I went elsewhere to get it, right? So, yeah. So I'm not surprised that Derrick Jaxn is separated from his wife. I'm not surprised. I knew that once she reconciled with him and she showed that she had a little bit of fight left in her and she had some dignity left about her, that he would take her back or try to get her back, because narcissists crave women who have self-respect. They need that. They need to conquer a woman and destroy her to prove how superior that they are. So if I have the power to take this beautiful flower and turn it into a wilted mess, that means that I'm the man. That means that this woman was willing to destroy herself for me because I am that dude. I am that amazing. And this is why Martell said he enjoyed watching Ariane and Melody fight over him, because it made him feel like the man. So their flowers were being wilted. That whole fight, that dynamic he created, it was destroying their self-esteem, both of them, right? It was destroying them psychologically, okay? But that made Martell feel even better. He got even more confident in himself. He felt like, wow, I got two women fighting over me. I must be the man. Regardless of how it's affecting the women around me, that shit don't matter. All that matters is I'm getting what I want from these two women. They're not happy, but I'm happy, okay? And if I'm happy, I can convince them to be happy for me too, right? If I'm getting what I want and I'm happy with this situation, I should be able to convince these two women who love me to allow me to sleep with both of them at the same time. Because I have trained these women and programmed these women, Ariane and Melody, to only be concerned with what makes me happy. Okay? That's what the competition is for. Who can make Martell happier? Who can satisfy him the most? So their happiness doesn't matter anymore. It's all about me. So whoever makes me happier, I'm going to choose them. But like I said months ago, that's a competition you cannot win. Because if a man is getting everything he wants from 2 different women, why would he stop the game? Why would he stop? He's getting 15% from Ariane and 85% from Melody. Why would he stop that? He's getting all his needs met. And he's the man, right? 2 beautiful women competing for my attention, and I ain't gotta do shit but show up. I don't have a kingdom. I don't have a corporation under my name. I don't have a builder's license. I don't have my own money, right? But I'm still the king. I'm still the man. I still have all this power over these 2 women, okay? And Derrick Jaxn was doing the same thing with his wife. Derrick Jaxn's wife probably believed that God sent him to her. So he's akin to God, okay? He's her savior, right? And that made him feel like the man. That made him feel like King God man, right? King God Daddy man, okay? And then the YouTube audience. Oh my God, he's so amazing. He's so intelligent. I wish I had a man like them. More supply. And then the woman he's smashing on the side. Oh my God, you're so good in bed. 3 different sources of supply. This dude is a sociopath who's very, I don't want to say sociopath. He's a narcissist who's very, very insecure. I don't know what happened with him and his family. I have no idea how he was raised. None. But this guy needs constant attention from his wife, from his fans, from the women he's smashing. He has a God complex. He wants to become a religion unto himself. This is why I don't fuck with personality cults, okay? I don't do that celebrities worship stand and shit. I don't do that. I'm sorry. Because the person now becomes a deity and a belief system unto themselves. And you can't even disagree with that religion or system without the fans and the followers coming after you. As if you've said something to destroy this illusion of perfection and divinity that they've created. I don't fuck with that. I see things for what they are and I call them out for what it is. So the people who follow Derrick Jaxn and Kevin Samuels, they're susceptible to this type of brainwashing. Oh my God, everything they say is correct. How dare you go? I cannot stand that. I cannot stand it. Maybe I'm contrarian and whatever, but I'm the eagle, okay? I'm the ego in astrology, not to be egotistical, but eagles, they fly alone. They do their own thing. They hunt on their own. They have their own minds. They don't move in a flock. I'm not a flock person. So people need to stop putting these social media personalities, okay? These Derrick Jaxns, Kevin Samuels, these people on social media, stop putting them on a pedestal, stop worshiping them and like, oh my God, we're gonna kill and die. No, that's not necessary. They didn't ask you to do that, okay? These celebrities and these people who are on YouTube and social media, they didn't ask you to worship them like that. They didn't ask you to do that. You're not doing them any favors by doing that. So Derrick Jaxn brainwashed his followers the same way he brainwashed his wife. That's just facts. The same way he brainwashed his wife. And so she has to get out of that now. And as I mentioned before, when it comes to astrology, Saturn does not play games. Saturn is conjuncting Neptune next year. I'm going to do a little video about that. This is massive disillusionment. Worldwide disillusionment. The fantasies about who you thought this government was, okay, who you think people are, your relationships even, it's about to be a wrap. Especially if you're a mutable sign. If you're a Virgo, a Gemini, a Sagittarius, or a Pisces. This transit is going to affect you more than anybody else. Okay, whatever fantasies you had that you were living with, it's about to be a wrap, right? Okay, so it is not a punishment, it's a correction. It's a recalibration. We all have to go through this cycle in our lives at some point, and it's the mutable sign's turn. So if you've been living under some sort of fantasy, it's a wrap. You're going to have to come to the harsh reality of what your life is and what it's not. And again, it's not a punishment, it's a course correction. So I'm gonna close it out here. I'm not surprised again that he filed for divorce. I am happy for her. I'm happy for his wife. This is not a tragedy. This is a moment of liberation for her. And I would not be surprised that once she heals herself, this guy's gonna come crawling back. If she takes 5 years to heal herself and she's doing better, I wouldn't be surprised if this man comes crawling back to her once she is finished doing her work and once she's coming to her own strength again. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But she has to heal. And this situation represents an ego death for her. It represents a disillusionment that was necessary because she had faith in something that was keeping her spiritually stagnant. She wasn't evolving in that situation. And you know, I talked about Neptune before. If this lady is a Sagittarius, Neptune has been squaring her sun sign since 2011. Neptune is one of the most difficult planets to deal with because your self-destruction feels good. It feels right. It becomes a belief system. It's like heroin. Neptune is not like Saturn or Mars. It's not a cold, hard, or harsh reality. It's a beautiful dream that is based on your fantasies and illusions and projections and your beliefs. It's not based on reality. It's based on how you want reality to be, how you believe things should be, right? And that's usually cultivated by trauma. So whatever traumatic experiences you've had as a child, that formulates your projections as an adult. And those projections are used to construct a moral code or moral system that you're willing to sacrifice yourself for. I'm willing to sacrifice my happiness and my identity to hold on to this marriage. I'm willing to sacrifice my happiness and my identity for a job or career or for money. And then when reality hits, because it always does with Neptune, it is excruciating because you realize that you betrayed yourself and you were happy to do it, right? Okay. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. If you want to order an astrology or tarot reading, you can go to my website, pay via CashApp or Stripe, and I'll have your reading to you within 3 to 5 business days. I look forward to reading your comments. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will speak to you soon.